So as a part of this whole experience, we were asked to set out some personal objectives that we wanted to accomplish while we were in Berlin. And personally, I wanted to challenge myself, so I chose things that weren't going to be particularly easy for me to overcome. The first one was that I wanted to familiarize myself with the inner workings of the professional communications in Germany. And you think this might be why the site visits were so intriguing to me. Through the site visits, I was able to familiarize myself with various steps and procedures that were carried out within agencies. I was able to inquire about the importance of creative briefs and departmental responsibilities and interagency communication channels and whatnot. I think I even managed to give the folks at McCann Erickson a few ideas on how to improve that through the use of an intranet, perhaps with one of their larger clients. So in retrospect, I think I can safely place a check mark in that box. The second objective was to challenge my ability to multitask. I was honestly nervous about the prospect of taking 3 graduate courses in a 6-week span, and my grades will ultimately determine how well I was able to meet that objective. But to date, I can say that my grade in the Global Communications course has definitely put me on the right track to completing this objective. So for the other 2, we'll just have to wait and see. So on to the next order of business, expectations of differences. Well, to begin, my first concern was in the manner in which I was accustomed to speaking with my fellow advertising junkies at FIU. It's not uncommon in the midst of a brainstorming session for me to use pop culture references and to sometimes quote entire scenes from movies to get my point across. So my worry was that in this process would cease to exist in the setting where individuals involved had an entirely different frame of reference. And I could say that for me, this concern was warranted. When working in groups with IMK students, I found that certain scenarios where trying to kick around creative ideas became a difficult task. I was incapable of truly expressing what I was thinking. I mean, trading abstract ideas is a complicated enough venture without introducing a serious language barrier. But this story has a happy ending, and the assignments were completed and they were executed with perfection, and I think the grade that I received for that work that I did will reflect that. Another concern that I had was with the formal nature in which I expected the presentations to be conducted. I have a very informal approach to public speaking, and I had a hard time changing that throughout the years. I've had a hard time doing that. I just happen to think that at the end of the day, people want to be addressed in a manner that makes them comfortable, and it doesn't include standing at attention and treating an advertising pitch like I'm on trial for my life. But once again, my expectations were confirmed when I learned that after the first week of presentations that no amount of strategy or creativity in what you do is going to excuse you from being critiqued on where you were carrying your hands when your associate was speaking, or how your posture was when somebody was changing a slide. So I definitely had to step up my game when it became time for me to give my presentation, and once again, I think this is going to have a happy ending as well. I managed to survive my trial by jury with my grade intact. I managed to impress the client, I think, and I didn't make too much of a fool of myself with how I carried myself while I was giving my presentation. So all in all, I think everything went well. So this is the part where I get to tell you incoming students about how to better your experience and increase your learning. Well, one recommendation that I would make is to make it a point to step outside of your comfort zone. I mean, venture off, go get lost in the city, take on responsibilities that you think you might not be able to accomplish, and I guarantee you that you'll surprise yourself. Spend as little time as humanly possible in the hostel, both for your own sanity and to soak up as much of the experience as you can. So it's amazing how productive you can become when you don't have television to rot away in front of. Take advantage of that. Speaking of comfort zones, I have another recommendation, and this time it's for the powers that be. Let me first begin by saying that I appreciate the accommodations the university arranged for the students of this program. However, I do want to express my proposal that perhaps it would further enhance the experience of living in another country if the students were given a choice of procuring their own accommodations. Prior to embarking on this trip, I did manage to find a number of accommodations that included hostels with locations that were more central, fully furnished apartments that were leased on 1-month terms that coincided with the dates of the program. I even spoke with some IMK students who rent apartments in Berlin that would be ecstatic at the prospect of briefly sharing their living space with FIU students. Given the complexity of what I'm proposing, I understand that this may be an impossibility, but maybe given the economic climate, I think it would go far in cutting costs for students and enhancing learning, as well as encouraging students to truly embrace the Berlin lifestyle. So I hope you take that into consideration.